All right, here we go. Come on. All right. So sorry about that. I was just getting the stream up here. So this is going to be reverse boss order, like I said. We're going to be able to watch Zeni as he tries to make his way first to Ridley, then to Dragon, then Phantoon, and then Kraid. That's the reverse order from what most people consider to be the intended boss order. So Zeni will be able to make his way through Seri Station here, like every other run, but it's going to change pretty quickly from if you've ever watched any other Super Metroid runs. So just taking some damage from Ridley here to get damage down as quickly as possible. So, as I was saying, this run will deviate pretty early on from most other runs. In most other runs, you want to collect some items in criteria, namely power bomb or morph ball and missiles. But in addition to that, Zeni's going to attempt to try and collect an energy tank that's going to be pretty difficult to get. The trick that he's going to try and do is a triple frame perfect trick. So basically, there are 3 frame perfect inputs that he has to do in a row. The first one is he has to get enough running speed, and then the next one is he has to jump, wall jump off of a wall in a certain way. And the last one is he has to be able to release, he's going to be holding an angle. He has to be able to release that, and if he does that on just the right frame, even if he does all 3 of those, he still only has a 50-50 chance of actually picking up the energy tank. So it's an extremely difficult trick. He's going to attempt it for a minute or so here, and hopefully he can get it. In total, it saves, I believe, somewhere around a minute if you can get it first try. If you can't get it first try, then you can still go for it a bunch, and it would still save a decent amount of time over just skipping it if you were to do that. Anyway, he's going to make his way down, just like in all the other runs, using a moonfall there. And he's going to moonfall down this next shaft as well, doing a nice little weave. So yeah, a lot of these new tricks are pretty recent discoveries. This E-tank, we're calling it TAS tank, is a pretty recent discovery. It's been known for a while, I believe, but it wasn't really thought to be humanly doable until Zeni and another runner named Static 9 was able to. I believe they were both able to get this in their practice, and Zeni just worked on it until he was able to get it somewhat consistently. So he just picked up Morph Ball there. He'll pick up missiles here. And what he did right there is he actually started turning around as he was collecting missiles, so it's a little bit of a frame saver there. It's always nice. So yeah, normally you'd go out left here, and instead he's making his way out to the right. He'll collect a missile tank here to the right, and then go for this trick. So now's a good time for any donations if we have them, and I can always mention that we have save and kill the animals as an incentive, of course.
Yeah, nothing in as of yet, but did want to just bring up that this is a marathon. This is Bring 'em Over 2, raising money for our resident Mega Man X runners, Luis Miguel, Madu, and Sopa, to get to AGDQ 19. They're all very top tier Mega Man X runners, slated to participate in the X1 to 3 relay. So any donations that you are able to get in, we really do appreciate it.
Yep. So as you can see, this is the trick I was talking about. He has to jump just at the right height off of the wall. He has to get just the right speed, and then if he has to release on just the right frame in order to pick up this energy tank. So like I said, it's extremely precise. The fact that it's possible at all is pretty crazy. But yeah, if Zeni's not able to get it after a certain number of tries, he's gonna move on, just to try and move this along. But hopefully we can show this off. That was a pretty close attempt there. Basically, there's one pixel where Samus is able to touch that energy tank, and that's the pixel that you're going for. And because of the way collision works in this game, it basically oscillates back and forth depending on what tile Samus is touching. So yeah, he's gonna move on, but it's a pretty cool trick. He's been attempting that a lot in his world record attempts. So and I should mention that Zeni is currently the world record holder for Super Metroid Reverse Boss Order. He just broke a couple months ago. He was able to break the sub-hour mark, which is really huge. So yeah, now he'll make his way up this shaft again, just like most of the other runs. However, it's still not going to be just like a lot of other Super Metroid runs you've seen, because there's even more new tech that has been that's been discovered recently, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there. Nice clean movement up the tower, up the climb shaft. All right, just moving on to Bomb Chorizo. So this is the first mini boss of the game. Optimally, you want to be able to beat this boss in one round. There's been a couple of new strats recently that have been discovered to try and save a few frames here too, which is pretty cool. So Zeni should be going for that. Yeah, so he's setting up for that. Basically, it makes Bomb Chorizo jump back pretty quickly. And also, because he has these missiles here, he's able to do the boss even a little bit faster. Yep, so that's a nice Bomb Chorizo fight. So he wants to get full missiles coming out of here, which he did. So that's good. All right, so this next room is called Terminator, because you get to run through and just shoot everything. It's always a fun room when you get it, but it's got some weird quirks to it, so. So coming up is going to be Brinstar. Brinstar, in this run, the goal is to go through Brinstar and collect a bunch of items so that you can start going through Norfair, because the way this run works is you're not going to be able to collect certain items until late in the game, because you want to fight, for example, behind Kraid, there's an item called Variasuit, and you can't collect that because Kraid is supposed to be the first boss that you fight. So Variasuit is supposed to protect against heat damage. And if you can't protect against heat damage and you have to go fight Ridley where there's a lot of heat damage, it's going to be a little tricky to navigate through. So what he's going to do is collect a reserve tank here and a couple of extra E-tanks and a bunch of extra ammo. And he'll be able to make his way through there just barely. There's some pretty fine margins here. But it's been very, very carefully planned so that you have just enough health to make it through each of these areas. So this is going to be a very interesting section here. Zeni's going to do a technique called Moon Dance. Moon Dance is a trick that was found by a Super Metroid tasser called, his name is Snick. Zeni's going to clip himself into these blocks here, and he's going to do 176 moonfalls, and that's not an exaggeration. He's going to do 176, and what he's doing right now basically is storing up fall speed so that he can go back into the room he was just in and clip down through the blocks. What this allows him to do is it allows him to collect power bombs early, much earlier and in a much better place than you would normally do. Normally, you would go up through Red Tower, pick up those power bombs, backtrack, and that's pretty slow, even in comparison to staying here and doing this trick. This trick can save, I believe, about 40 seconds to a minute if you do it really quickly, like he's doing right here. So he's gonna, you'll see him drop down a block here, and then he'll make his way over to the left. So what's really important to note about this is he's storing up fall speed, and if he leaves the ground at all, if he jumps, if he gets hit, then he actually loses all that fall speed. So coming up here, you'll see the result of this, and it should be pretty impressive. There you go. So that's a pretty awesome trick in my opinion. So that's some people might consider that or might think that that's a major glitch. Because it's using Moonfall and because you're staying inbounds the whole time, it's not a major glitch. It's just kind of a little bit of an exploit of some of the tricks that already exist. So, and the other thing is it currently only saves time in reverse boss order. So specifically for this category, people have tried looking into it for 100%, and I believe the conclusion was that it's about 10 or 12 seconds slower than doing the routes that they currently have. So here's Zen, he's going to pick up power bombs, which is pretty significant. A lot of the routing, because of this trick and because of a couple other things, a lot of the routing has changed so that you only have to go through rooms once. That's a big place where a lot of time has been cut down in this run. So now he'll move on. He'll be collecting some more items here in Brinstar and making sure that he has enough energy tanks to be able to survive the upcoming rooms that'll give him heat damage. Running through those rooms, we call those hell runs. And the trick he did right here, this is, he just was able to shoot a super missile in such a way that it opens up he is able to gain access to the super missiles behind Spore Spawn. So normally these missiles would be locked behind Spore Spawn. You'd have to go through that and fight Spore Spawn. It's a long process, long fight. Nice little mock ball there. And here he's going to collect another energy tank. So there's a lot of collection of items just to prepare to go into Norfair. And you'll see why. He's getting a specific number of items so that he has just enough of everything that he needs to be able to survive. All right, next up, I believe, is Charge. So he'll come down here and get Charge Beam, and then he'll be able to move on. So he's going to come through here, and because he wasn't able to collect that energy tank earlier using the CWJ method, he's going to have to come and get it using a damage boost. This is significantly easier than that trick. But basically, that trick would cut out all of this backtracking through here if you were able to get that. So it's pretty valuable to try and go for it when you're doing some world record attempts. And there you go. So there's a little bit of time here before the first hell run. Now would be a good time for a couple more donations if there is any. If not, then I can keep commentating.
Yeah, I just figured I'd bring up this opportunity to let you know that if you were to donate during this time period, you are $5 or more. You are in the running to win a copy of Mighty Number 9. If anyone's interested in that, we do have various prizes going on and various incentives running. Right now, the current incentive is for the save or kill the animals at the end of the Super Metroid run. So currently, kill is in the lead, $56 to 10. If anyone wanted to get in on that, now would be the time to start looking into it.
Yep, and it's good that kill is in the lead. That is the objectively right option as speedrunners. So yeah. So here Zenny's picking up Spazer. I'm not 100% sure on the history of these runs, but I believe Spazer wasn't picked up in a lot of them. Just due to the fact that you'd be able to pick up a lot of super missiles to deal with some of the bosses coming up. But instead, because you're doing so much less backtracking in this particular route, you don't necessarily need all those extra super missile tanks and things like that. So Zenny's going to pick up Spazer here, and he'll be able to use that to fight Ridley. And next up will be another beam upgrade, Ice Beam. So this is the first hell run of the route. He's going to be able to go through here. It's not going to be too scary because he has quite a good amount of health, but it's still a little unnerving. If you were to do this casually, it would be probably pretty scary. All right, no problems through there. So I'll pick up Ice Beam and then get back out of here and continue through. He has a couple more hell runs just coming up too, so. The big thing with these is you really don't want to, if you mess up movement, it's usually not a huge deal, but you don't want to take damage from enemies because that'll usually put you in a pretty bad spot. Alright, the next item here is high jump boots. I believe pretty much every run gets these, except for... I'm not even sure, actually, but I believe most of the runs get those. They're pretty... That's a pretty good item in the game. So yeah, we're gonna go through a couple more rooms here, where Zenny's gonna be taking heat damage, and it's gonna be a little bit tighter this time, but it shouldn't be too bad. The harder parts of the run are definitely in Lower Norfair. So you'll see more of this. It's just gonna be a lot more tight. And that's a really clean Rising Tide room. That's a pretty tough strat, actually. Those jumps are pretty precise. So here's a cool thing. This strat here, he was trying to go for what's called right. This room is called Bubble Mountain, and doing the right side of Bubble Mountain, it's a pixel perfect wall jump. But even if you miss it, freezing that waver there and jumping off of him is still faster than going to the left side. So it's pretty much always worth going for. So this is the first part of the run where you have to farm quite a bit. He's farming up to get some energy. He's trying to get it within about 10 farms or so. So he's going to have to do that on the way in, and then he'll collect a speed booster here, and then he'll have to farm again on the way out just because of how much health he loses. So leaving here, yeah, he's gonna want to farm up until he's pretty much full.
Got a little bit of time then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we did get a donation in from wife of Zenny. Donated $5, saying this ain't PETA. Hashtag kill the animals. Thank you
There we
very
go.
much for that.
Thank you, wife of Zenny. So yeah, just a few more farms here, and then he'll move on, and he's got some more items to collect. So all this preparation is just so that he's able to make it to Ridley alive, and then he's got to fight Ridley and then make it out. So this next item will be the last beam upgrade he gets for a while. This is Wave Beam. He will be picking up Plasma Beam quite a bit later in the run, but that's after a couple of bosses here, so. All right, and he was able to make that jump. So that jump, there's a couple of places where there are crumble blocks for those spikes. Spikes are another big deal. You don't want to land on spikes. It can put you in a pretty bad spot again. There's another point a little bit later in the run where if you fall on spikes, it becomes really difficult to complete the run, to complete the hell run to Ridley. Hitting spikes there wouldn't be too bad. You'd probably just have to farm a bit, but it's not too big of a deal. So now he's coming here to fight everyone's favorite boss, Crocomire. So the thing with Crocomire is it's a pretty RNG heavy boss. It's pretty much entirely dictated by how many times he swipes. Every time he swipes, it loses a little bit of time. So this has been a pretty decent fight. There's only been one swipe so far. Yeah, so that's not a bad fight. You can get better fights, you can get perfect fights, but it's not too big of a deal. So the charge shot he just did there is a wraparound shot. That actually opened the door on the left side of this room. Just because of the way that Super Metroid works, you're able to do that in a couple of places. That trick is usually used in 100% for the Gauntlet Spark, but it also has a use here, so. And the next couple items, the next big item that Zenny should be picking up here is Grapple Beam. So the nice thing about Grapple Beam is, first of all, it lets you, ooh, he bonked there, so he'll just have to jump up here. It's not too big of a deal. The nice thing about Grapple Beam is it lets you farm a little bit more easily right before Ridley and in a couple other spots. And it also helps with movement in a couple of rooms. And you actually need it for Meridia later on in order to get up in a couple of areas. There's a couple of really nice little movement things here coming up. There's two mock balls here. A mock ball is when you're able to morph at the same time you hit the ground. So that's a nice one. That's a nice smooth one. And then the one leaving here is even better. In fact, some would say it's the best mock ball in the game. Nice big jump, and there you go. So a little bit more farming here. All right, and And it looks like full on everything, so it's time to do a couple of harder things. So coming up pretty soon is Lava Dive. So Lava Dive in a couple of other runs isn't that big of a deal because you have the suits that'll help you, that will stop you from taking damage from the lava. However, again, because you don't have those, in this particular run, you're going to take a lot of damage. So Zeni has just enough health here to make it through. And you'll see that he'll end up probably, well, I'll let you see how much health he ends up with. Looks like he's entering with a good amount of health, though, so that's good. Alright, couple of tight wall jumps. And... ooh. 10 health. That's how precise this run is. So yeah, that was a little bit sketchy. Looked like he clipped the ceiling on one of the jumps in, but he was able to make that work. It's a tough strat. That's different from a lot of other previous reverse boss order strats for that room. Those strats would have you pause and manually use reserves, but using this strat means that you don't have to pause and waste all that time. But it's significantly harder, significantly more precise. So here we're going to go and fight Golden Chorizo, and that trick right there is called Green Gate Glitch, and is extremely precise, and Zeni nails it on the first try. That trick is much harder than he makes it look. So we get Screw Attack here, which is pretty much necessary to get for the Ridley fight. When you have Screw Attack, when you're using Screw Attack, you won't take damage from a lot of enemies. You will actually take damage from Ridley's tail, but you won't take damage from Ridley's body. So it's really useful for getting around Ridley when he moves in weird ways. So Zeni's coming in here. He's going to pick up these super missiles, fight Golden Chorizo, and then he'll head out of here. And the interesting thing about this fight is there's a particular place you can stand where Golden Chorizo just can't hit you. He's going to use super missiles at the start of the fight here, and then a bunch of charge Ice Wave Spazer shots, and he'll be able to kill Golden Chorizo pretty quickly here. But none of Golden Chorizo's attacks right now can hit Zeni, just because of where he's standing. So he'll shoot some of these, I guess, eggs is what I've heard them referred to as. But he'll shoot some of those, get some drops, and then pick up the drops on the way out. And again, pretty low health. He does have reserves at this point, but losing his reserves would be pretty bad. He's going to need his reserves later on when he's getting ready to farm for Ridley. So he'll farm some of these rippers on the way out, get some super missiles, and continue on. So the next few rooms are pretty dangerous. They're made a little bit safer because of... ooh, he wanted to collect that power bomb. They're made a little bit safer because of Screw Attack, but if you get hit here, I believe most of these enemies will do about 200 damage. And he makes it through worst room in the game. That's awesome. That wall jump is pretty scary because even though you have Screw Attack, in the middle of your wall jump, you actually aren't using Screw Attack. There's a few frames where you're vulnerable, so it's pretty dicey, but he was able to make it through no problem. And he's going to collect another energy tank in this room here. So these are the spikes that I was talking about earlier, which would be very bad for him to fall on. If he fell on these, it would just put him in a really, really tough spot. He might not have enough energy to make it to where he needs to farm for Ridley. So he's going to use iframes from that Fire Flea, and he's going to be able to land on those and run on those spikes. So he has to fall on and hit that Fire Flea in a certain way. So we'll come through here, through these key hunters. All right. So next up, he has to fight a couple of metal pirates, which shouldn't be too big of an issue. They're able to drop quite a bit of health and super missiles, which is what he's looking for right now. He needs both of those going into Ridley. The more, the better, basically. That was pretty good drops. And that's a lot of supers. That's pretty fortunate, actually. That saved some time farming. So he should go open this door, farm up a little bit. The only issue is he's a little low on power bombs here, so he's not going to have much in the way of power bombs. So he'll farm a bit here, and then do what's called a crystal flash. That'll replenish all of his energy. But in order to do that, he needs to spend 10 missiles, 10 supers, and 11 power bombs, because you have to lay one power bomb and then it eats up another 10. So he's gonna have to farm a bit here. So now would be another good time for donations if you have any.
Nothing at the moment, but I do want to plug that this is your bring him over an online marathon for raising money to get Luis Miguel, Madu, and Sopa to HDU 19. Luis and Madu from Brazil and Madu from Finland. They're all great Mega Man X runners, and we're trying to help get them to HDQ to participate in the Mega Man X relay coming up. So anything you're able to donate is very much appreciated.
All right, so here's the Ridley fight. This is probably the most dangerous point in the run. The goal here. So it's going all right so far. Ooh, that's not good. So that's probably a death. So Zeni's gonna have to reload. We have a couple of safety saves set up here. So basically, these safety saves here have one extra safety here. On the way out of Norfair, you actually have to rely on a lot of RNG to get missiles. So I believe that this safety save has an extra missile tank. And the other thing that it has is an extra reserve tank to make the fight for Ridley a little bit more doable. So let's see how Zeni does with round 2. But yeah, most of the time when you're fighting Ridley here, it usually isn't that big of a deal if you take a hit or two, in most other categories. But when you're already taking a bunch of heat damage, it really becomes precise. One thing that Zeni's been able to do pretty well is learn how Ridley moves in most instances. So right there, Zeni was trying to get underneath Ridley's tail, but Ridley just kind of moved in a weird way. He didn't turn around when Zeni thought he would, so Ridley's movement is extremely difficult to predict, and no matter how much you practice, there's always something that can go wrong. All right, so Zeni's going to use some manual reserves here. Huh. Oh, so that's very interesting. So what happened there was Zenny was trying to pause in order to use his manual reserves, but the manual reserves triggered on probably one of the last frames of that pause animation, and when that happens, the game actually soft locks. So you have to be pretty careful with when you use your reserves. It's something that can happen actually at the end of the Ridley fight. Sometimes if you have a really good Ridley fight, you can use some manual reserves rather than waiting for your reserves to automatically kick in. It's not very common that that happens, but if you're able to do that, you're able to not get health bombed by Ridley, which would be pretty ideal. But if you don't have enough health and you try and pause and your reserves kick in, it could soft lock the game. So it's kind of a weird glitch that can happen. So that's interesting to see that. All right, so we'll make our way back through the Metal Pirates room, and we'll have to farm again here, but we'll be able to give Ridley another shot and see if he's a little more cooperative this time. All right, so that's a pretty good drop so far. All right. So again, he's gonna have to Crystal Flash here. He's just waiting for his energy to get below a certain threshold. In order to Crystal Flash, there's a bunch of conditions that have to be met. So you have to have at least 10 missiles, at least 10 supers, and at least 11 power bombs. And then on top of that, your health has to be below 50, and you can't have any reserves. So all of that in combination will let you Crystal Flash. So it's a pretty specific piece of tech that, interestingly, Nintendo didn't really go over in the owner's manual for this game. It was only really known about because in the intro in this game, in the cutscenes that are at the beginning, the cutscenes that are at the main menu, it actually shows the Crystal Flash, but it doesn't really give any context for it. There's a lot of other hidden tech in this game that it does go over. It gives you hints as to how to do it. For example, with Shine Sparking, using the Takora there to teach you, but it never really explains how to do a Crystal Flash, so it's just kind of curious. So Zenny's just trying to get a little bit more health and I believe another power bomb here, going into Ridley. And it looks like he's gonna try again here. So it's gonna start out again with 2 X factors, dump those supers into Ridley, and then see if he can get that. I don't remember exactly how many charge shots it is. Ooh, so hit Ridley's tail again. So it might be doable if he plays really well, gets all his charge shots in. We'll have to just see. This is a really hard part of the run. Again, like I said, this is where most reverse boss order runs die. Ridley is just an extremely hard fight when you're already taking heat damage. And Ridley's really not cooperating here. Yeah, so this is going to be another. Ooh, yeah, it's going to be another try here. So yeah, this is what it takes to run reverse boss order. It's a very, very difficult category. So let me see if I can give a little more context to how Ridley works. When you're fighting Ridley, there's 2 main things that you're looking for. He can either, for the most part, he can either swoop at you, and try and pick you up, or he will pogo. So you'll notice that Zeni is trying to manipulate Ridley, either manipulate Ridley into doing pogos in the corner, in which case he can just shoot a bunch of super missiles at him and a bunch of Ice Wave Spazer shots and do a lot of damage that way. But the issue with swoops is that Zeni has to morph under him, and that loses a little bit of time. And every time you lose some time in this, you lose health. So the faster you can do things, the better. With swoops, it's a little bit faster because you don't have to worry about morphing under Ridley. But the bigger issue is if you mess up a jump or if you move in the wrong way, then you can get hit by Ridley pretty easily. So all of Ridley is basically a really, really difficult fight. Also, the way that Zeni's kind of rationed his ammo is Ridley has 18,000 health, and he's trying to do 2 X Factors, which is 2,400 damage, and then 20 supers, and then I believe 12 Spazer shots. I'm getting that right? I believe Spazer shots do 300 each. I might have the math wrong, but that's what I have in my notes here. So here we go, round 3. All right, so this is going well. So he morphs under Ridley's tail, gets in the corner, and then he's able to just shoot him with a bunch of Spazer shots. So now this is a swoop phase. Ooh, and he got really lucky that he didn't get hit by Ridley's tail there. And there we go, Ridley's dead. So now he'll have just enough health to be able to pick up the drops here. And then there's an energy tank right in this room here that'll fill him up so that he's able to survive on the way out. So now that Ridley's finally dead, we can get to another hard boss in the game. So just when you think that the hard part's over, there's still so much more to this game. That's the first boss. So the next part here is going to be, well, first of all, surviving getting out of Norfair, and then after that, making your way through Meridia without any suits on, and killing Dragon. So leaving here, he needs a certain amount of ammo in order to be able to do another Crystal Flash. And it looks like he has plenty of ammo for that, although he would like one more Power Bomb, but it looks like he's not going to get it. So he's actually going to have to go pick up what are called PBs of Shame, Power Bombs of Shame, because he needs one more Power Bomb in order to Crystal Flash. So he's going to come to the left here, and fortunately, there's a really nicely positioned Power Bomb tank. And that'll just make getting out of here, well, possible. It would be, you know, you could get, oh wow, oh, he got the Power Bomb drop. So I was just about to say, it's actually possible to get out. He could have tried to rely on a drop there, but that Power Bomb drop is a very, very low percent. I want to say it's about 4%, maybe even lower than that. So it's possible to get Power Bomb drops from a lot of these enemies, but it's pretty rare. Alright, so he needs to take a little bit more damage, and that puts him below that 50 health mark in order to Crystal Flash one more time here. So he's going to try another trick here. This is called Spike Suit, and he got it first try. So that trick right there is a double frame perfect trick, and that sets him up to save about a minute later on in the run. But he's going to have to carry this Spike Suit all the way through Meridia. And when I say carry that suit all the way through, the reason I say that is because it's very easy to set off that suit. In essence, what he was able to do is store a Shine Spark, and he's able to carry it pretty much indefinitely. But the issue with it is if you press the R button, or if you press the jump button without doing a spin jump, or without holding L, you will actually use that Shine Spark. So in order to use it in the right place, Zeni has to move in a very specific way. He either has to spin jump for every jump, or he has to be holding L if he's going to do a straight jump. So you'll see every single one of his jumps is either going to be a spin jump or he's going to be holding L. It's actually very easy to trigger if you're not very consciously thinking about it. But he's practiced this movement specifically so that if he gets Spike Suit here, he's able to carry it all the way through. And the reason it's able to save so much time is it allows him to Shine Spark through a room that normally you'd have to spend a lot of time in Morph Ball in. You'll see it'll be right after Batun. But before that, he has to make it all the way through Meridia without a suit. Another interesting thing to note is that the properties of Spike Suit, so you saw him angle there so that he could do a straight jump. The properties of Spike Suit actually change underwater in terms of what will set it off. So it's a really odd kind of glitch, but it allows you to store that Shine Spark and use it wherever you want. So it's really beneficial in multiple places through the run. There's a couple of other much more risky places that you can try and use a Spike Suit, but those are extremely difficult. So now he's going up here into Meridia. He uses a little trick there so that he can keep his vertical speed and get up here quickly. But now he's going to go all the way through here. Like I said, holding L and making sure that he doesn't accidentally use that suit. So he's going to be freezing all these enemies in a very specific way so that he can jump up onto them. And another interesting thing is in Super Metroid, if you do a crouch jump, you actually get 8 extra pixels of height. It's a very odd mechanic, but it's pretty much built into the game. So, and it allows you to get a couple of these jumps where you need just that little bit of extra height. So here's another really useful place for grapple. It allows you to get through much more easily. Falling down here would lose a decent amount of time. So
Do I have time to get a word in here? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we did get a donation from LeanDrom90. They donated $10.30, saying it was a pleasure to participate as a runner earlier today, and now donating towards our objective. Bring him over. Thank you very much for that. And if you did want to put your donation towards an incentive, you can feel free to type so in the chat or message one of us. We can get it towards that incentive for you.
Awesome. So yeah, Zeni is the next room up here is going to be the Batun boss fight, mini boss fight. That room is deceptively difficult because being able to fight Batun without using the spike suit is a challenge. So he's going to come in here, he's going to shoot a charge shot here to start, and then he's going to try and get in a bunch of super missiles, and it looks like he got a good pattern. And he did, so he was able to do all that in one round, which is huge. And it looks like he's gonna need to farm for a few supers, but this is the room where he's able to save so much time. He has to come back here and farm a little bit, but it's still going to be much faster than going through that room normally. You have to morph and bomb your way up through. I believe you have to do some weird jumps and morph, and it's annoying. It's slow, and this is just so much faster. Using these Metroids as platforms. And nice, another super. So these things he's doing here with the grapple are called grapple jumps. They're pretty odd, but it allows him to get a lot of extra height with the grapple, and I believe you can pretty much do it indefinitely, which is really, really useful when you don't have suits in Meridia. So he's actually going to have to get another suit here. It's not quite a spike suit, but it attaches another Shine Spark suit to you so that you can get out of here. Interestingly, this whole run, it's really interesting to see that you can fight Ridley without doing any really major glitches, or you can fight Ridley without doing any glitches whatsoever. Just if you collect enough items and if you play well enough. The only glitch that you really have to do in this run is right here with Dragon. You have to get a spike suit here in order to get out of Dragon's lair. So that was right there where he did a crystal flash and got grabbed. That's what gives Zeni a spike suit here. So the next thing to do is wait for Dragon to do another goop here, get grabbed, and then use the grapple to kill Dragon. There we go. So that should finish Dragon off. Zeni will pick up, showing off a little bit. He'll pick up a spin, not spin jump, space jump, and then I'll be able to move on from here. So there's space jump. Next thing to do is, in order to get out of here, he can't use space jump underwater without a suit. So he has to do yet another grapple jump to get out of here. And then from there, he's gonna have to do, use this spike suit. And there you go. So free at last. So next up, he'll be grabbing Plasma Beam. It's actually, I believe it was debated for a while whether or not Plasma Beam was, picking up Plasma Beam was faster, and I believe it's a second or a couple seconds faster in order to spend the time to grab Plasma here, but it's worth it, and it makes Mother Brain significantly easier, so it's worth grabbing. But yeah, the dangerous parts of the run are pretty much over. Maybe I shouldn't say that because, you know, Fantoon's been known to troll a lot of people, but yeah, now that he's going to be getting the most overpowered beam in the game, Plasma Beam, he'll be able to finish off Fantoon relatively easily and make his way to Kraid and then finally Mother Brain. There's still a few pretty cool strats left in this run though, so don't go anywhere. There's a nice little Shine Spark coming up in a bit. All right, and there's Plasma Beam. So this, in combination with Wave Beam and Charge Beam, this will do 900 damage, which is a huge amount. It makes the Mother Brain fight end very, very quickly. It only takes 20 shots to kill Mother Brain using this beam combination. Hey, is there any update on save and kill?
Right now, save and kill, it's still $61 for kill versus $10 for save. So we're still killing them right now, but we do have up until the Mother Brain fight to get those donations in if you wanted to lose frames and save those animals. Your choice.
Yep. Please donate to get these runners here. It would be really entertaining to watch them at AGDQ. And in addition to that, it'd also be really entertaining to watch the animals die. So, yeah, get your donations in. So there's a couple of precise space jumps coming up here. Hopefully, let's see if Zeni can get these. Ooh, just barely missed it. Landing on that platform is way harder than you might think it is. But yeah, there's there's a shine spark coming up here. Let's see if Zeni's able to do this. It only saves a little bit of time, but it's pretty cool. So that's a really, really tight window to get this. All right, next up is Fantoon, the run killer for most new route runners, or for any of the top tier new route runners. And he's going to be significantly easier in this run, but he can still kind of troll you with some bad patterns. So let's hope there's some fast action going on here. All right, let's see what you have. All right, let's get a mid maybe. Nope. All right, so yeah, that's a first round slow pattern. So as you can see, that charge beam will do 900 damage, and Fantoon only has 2,500 health, so it makes it really quick. So that was a fast pattern second round, so that's about average, you know. I believe that matches what's in Zeni's world record, so that's definitely not awful. That's not bad. All right, so we've done 3 bosses so far. We've done Ridley, we've done Dragon, and we've done Fantoon. So there's only one left, which is Kraid. So we'll try and get him out of the way as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, there is a nice quick way of dealing with Kraid. There's a quick kill that you can do where you use a missile and 3 super missiles. And you do exactly 1,000 damage, which is the total health for Kraid. And you don't have to deal with him standing up. A little bit of a power bomb jump there. And the nice part about having all these really powerful items is you pretty much don't have to worry about any enemies in the earlier parts of the game at this point. Zeni can do a nice long moonfall there and save a bit of time. Another one there. Ooh. So that's a bit of a new strat. I actually don't think I've seen that before, but he uses the morph ball there and does a little bounce, and pops through. Yeah, there's all sorts of little optimizations in these rooms. There's so many different ways to do each of these rooms, which is why Super Metroid is such a fantastic game. You have so many options in terms of movement. Ooh, so yeah, ideally what you want to do is you want to be able to space jump through this room using the speed from the previous room, but it's pretty tough to get that space jump there, that initial jump. Anyway, so here Zeni is gonna go for the Kraid quick kill. Hopefully he's able to get this. And there you go. And so you might be wondering, I said earlier that various suits locked behind Kraid, which would be the next room right after Kraid here. But Zeni didn't go pick it up. The reason is because at this point in the run, Zeni has enough energy tanks to be able to do everything he needs for the rest of the game. So there's really no reason to pick up any of the suits. It's just a 400 frame waste at that point, in addition to the time entering the room and leaving. So no reason to spend the time picking it up. Ooh, another nice bounce ball here through this room. Yeah, those are pretty cool strats. And this is my personal favorite room in the game. This is called Red Tower. And Zeni's been here a couple of times already in this run, but climbing up Red Tower is pretty cool. Ooh, getting stuck in one of the Samus Eaters. I think that's the actual name for them. Yeah, but getting stuck in those plants is never fun. Yeah, so the only thing left in this run is Mother Brain. Getting through Norfair, getting through those Metroids, and then the last trick is going to be Baby Skip, so we'll see that. Again, because you have all these all this ammo from the rest of the game, you really don't have to worry too much about your ammo count entering Norfair, or not Norfair, Torian, excuse me. Nice mock ball there. Save some frames. And here's the golden statue. So we get to sit here and wait until this sinks to the bottom here, and then we can move on to Torian. This is probably the most ideal time in the run for any donations, if there are any.
I haven't seen any new ones come in, but I do want to let everyone know that this is Bring 'em Over 2, and we are raising money for Luis Miguel, Madu, and Sopa to get to AGDQ 19. Luis and Madu from Brazil and Sopa from Finland. They're all going to be participating in the Mega Man X1 to 3 relay with a lot of the other top runners. So we are trying to make sure that they are able to come and participate.
Awesome. So now we have a couple more Metroid rooms here. Or we have the Metroid rooms here, and Zeni will be going for a couple of pretty tough strats here. There's one more strat in the second to last room in Metroid Room 3. It's pretty tough, so we'll see if he's able to do that, but it's the fastest way through the room. Get those Metroids. Come on, Samus. Do the thing. So this was the room I was talking about. It's pretty tough to hit this strat. There's a way that you can space jump all the way through and kill all the Metroids really quickly. It looks really smooth when it's done. Nice, got the supers he needed, and more. And the last major trick of the game, well, actually, the second to last major trick of the game is going to be baby skip. The last major trick is going to be called stand-up glitch. And what Zeni's going to be able to do is he has enough health here to where he can actually continue to move during the cutscene during the Mother Brain in the middle of the Mother Brain fight, and he'll be able to damage Mother Brain down. So at the third phase, it'll only take a shot or two. So that was a great baby skip there. Really clean, no problems. Another interesting thing to note is that this trick right here that Zeni's about to do is called Zeb Skip. He's able to clip through this barrier here called the Zebitite. In order to do this, though, because he has space jump, it's actually a different method that you have to use. So he has to do what's called a down back Zeb Skip, which is just a specific way of running into these rinkas here. All right, and now for the Mother Brain fight. So like I said, there's 20 plasma shots that he needs to fire. Once he's done with those, we'll just be able to move on. But Mother Brain always has some surprises, so yeah, even now, that's a kind of an odd pattern to start with. She's being kind of passive today. Yeah, that was a pretty friendly Mother Brain.
And we did get one more last-second donation in from Conster786, donating $5, saying, "Kill the animals, because we need our space burgers."
There we go.
Space burgers. This $5 goes to host choice.
Awesome. So yeah, if I remember correctly, the cutoff is right when Mother Brain's head hits the ground. But yeah, it's nice that Kill the Animals is safely in the lead. Gotta save those frames. So yeah, this is stand-up glitch right here. Zeni's just able to damage Mother Brain while the baby is refilling Samus. And it actually saves a pretty significant amount of time. Missing it isn't the end of the world. You can still complete the run without it, but you know, you want to save as much time as possible. So. And a perfect stand-up glitch would be only having to fire one shot here at the end. So let's see. Yep. That's a perfect stand-up glitch. And I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I'd say that we're killing the animals, huh?
We are indeed killing those animals.
Awesome. So yeah, here's the final escape, and time is right when Zeni is facing forward on the ship. So one final moonfall in the game saves a few seconds. Always nice to hit that, and it's always like a dreadful feeling if you miss it. But again, any way you can get through these rooms. Zenny was baiting us a little bit. Oh, so much steam. Time. GG to Zenny. That's an extremely difficult run to do. So, even with a couple hiccups at Ridley, it's still really impressive. He was able to get Spike Suit, which is a double frame perfect trick, and get through Meridia pretty decently. So yeah, that's reverse boss order.
Yeah, it was a really nice run. Really enjoyed it. Very entertaining. Even with the hiccups, it's still crazy to see some of the stuff that's you're able to do with Super Metroid. Just and how tight some of those windows are to actually survive.
Yeah, getting down to within 10 health, but it's all planned still, and it still blows my mind that the run is even possible. So it's a pretty cool run.
Yeah, for sure.